said they lost business for 8 consecutive years. They lost money.
And that was controlled.
And that was the kind of the end of it. And then I think they parted the company out, and then other similar companies came in and bought this section that produces this product.
I know Texas Instruments had a role.
TI bought a lot of CDC. But they had a completely different outlook. And Texas Instrument, they got really big on just hand calculators.
Yes.
And and small business machines, real small
calculators for schools.
Right.
I mean,
they locked up the entire market.
Yeah.
And then they bought CDC and got involved in all kinds of things. And I don't even see the brand anymore.
No.
So I don't know if they.
That's all it used to be when the kids were in school.
Yeah.
Remember at the end of the beginning of school year, you'd go and get a calculator by Texas Instruments and.
Yeah, and if they were taking a lot of math, you had to get a business calculator.
Yes.
No, they have Inspire.
Pardon?
No, they have Inspire calculators.
Inspire. Oh, there's so many now.
And a lot of the American companies, when they were broken up. For reasons beyond their control or because they were bad in business. Now Korea, Japan, and China owns components of every technology company.
I know another big one was Northern Telecom.
Yeah, around here.
Yes. Northern Telecom.
I remember that.
I had a friend that worked there. But that was 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
There was a big outfit around here. It's still around. In fact, we've got our internet through them. Consolidated Communications, and they basically owned the Midwest, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. But they fell behind too. They just couldn't keep up, and they weren't innovative and that sort of thing. So now they're just pretty much southern Minnesota is all.
I wonder how much Steve Jobs had to do with like Apple taking off. Was he the visionary?
Oh God, yes. Yeah. Some of these guys, they just intuitively knew when they saw the technology developing, they automatically projected that technology in places that the average person would never think of.
Right.
And so that's why they're so influential. Too influential.
Yeah. Like Elon Musk, that guy.
Well, they knew that computer technology would take off because it came from Roswell or something.
Yeah, that's great. All that stuff. Oh man, that technology But that's why we have people that do it for us.
Oh God, he does it for us.
Well, you're lucky you got. Can we drink from the bottle?
No. This is my very favorite.
Here, wait a minute. Where's my bag? Is there anything in there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to say it real quick. I have not been to a casino. I haven't been since. I figured I got in the head of that. As a matter of fact, when we moved, that Shipper Shredder I sold that.
Really?
Yeah, at the local auction.
Sandra, where did we get our Department 56? We drove down to, what town was that?
Oh, that was,
Anyway, it was one of those online auction operations.
Like Smith.
So I had used that thing and abused it. 20 years, I'll bet. I used that thing, brought it in, and I still sold it for about $800.
Well, anyway,
It still worked fine.
No, it wasn't Rochester, but anyway. The interesting thing, though, on Cleveland Avenue in the Twin Cities, there was this.
What is she looking for?
Well, I was just telling about the Department 56 and Nutcrackers, but you and I.
I got nutcrackers. You want nutcrackers?
A couple for my fireplace. Now that
I
I'm
can
settled
give you some
And it was-
nutcrackers.
So my mom.
she was talking about it, and I said, when she's ready to part, let me know. But now that I know what I have, and after I
And then you go back to
And now I'm thinking,
like 2-3 days after.
That's
she passed away.
insane.
I went back
I'm
and
trying to
checked
get
the remnants,
whatever
and I'm
was
just
sitting
out
on
of it,
my
sitting
clothes,
there.
that's it.
And talked to this lady, like,
On Halloween, I
blah, 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 blah. I
had
said, my mom
down
passed
to
away. I
one.
said, you know,
Well, it's
why don't you better look
Cannon
at your
Falls, that was
machine? It was on Mr. Caston.
they don't have.
Yep, it was like
It was on Cleveland Avenue, this guy had this,
minor, hot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's by far the
not
most I've ever won.
China fine stuff.
The most I ever
Anyways,
won was
I had seen this
6,300.
nutcracker, it was,
6,003 on the
You're
slot.
kidding.
So the key is, what were you playing? You gotta put in.
Dresselmeyer.
I was playing.
Dresselmeyer.
No, actually,
It was like, they $250.
Oh, yeah. And you
We went down to Cannon
probably
Falls.
the second
And here was
biggest
her
jackpot
Dresselmeyer.
that I ever won
And-
was at Treasure
And
Island,
the
and
thing
I
of
was
it
betting
is, I
50
thought, what is wrong
cents.
with this here? Because it was like
Per
maybe
pole,
something was
per pole.
wrong. Well, he had a pocket watch.
And
on
less-
the side, and it just
In less than
rubbed a little bit on the
$20,
black paint.
I got $3,000.
I would just rub
On a 50
yeah,
cent
and
bet.
I paid like what,
And
about
a couple of years
$35,
ago,
it was
when I was
$250.
at
And I just took a magic marker and
They
just
had
covered
a
that
brand
up,
new
and the
game.
clock and watch fit over.
And
Yeah, that was really
I was
something.
almost-
She
Oh,
got
I got one too, but the doll
so I was
fell
just
off.
sitting on the end machine, and I put in,
and
No, Sandy
Close
gave
to
me
my last
a
one.
Halloween one.
and the lowest
wish
you could bet was 75.
I would love a Halloween nutcracker. I never got any.
And I got into the special feature, and
I'll share
I
a
went,
picture of it.
I'm gonna do good on this.
I will
And
put the
somebody
picture
started
up.
yelling, "Oh, you got
No,
this!" And I'm going, "No, I only got."
figured it.
You know, it was like the minor,
I cut it.
but it happened that the minor,
Places.
nobody had gotten the minor, so the minor
Yeah,
was.
it's tiny.
The most that I had ever gotten was like $3,900.
In mountains, you got to light the air. Oh, that's over there.
It's alright though. It's,
You know, and that was the lowest, the 75 cent bet, and less than $20.
Pat's son and daughter-in-law in Faribault. And, here, or checkers, and,
I won't see him again.
I give her some things, you know. But she's fussy, you know, but some things, you know, like, yeah. No, and they don't flip, and they don't flip, yeah.
I was not that lucky, but, well, you know, back then,
She must have been right.
And
back then,
she likes the white longer,
and I don't know if they were going
I
high,
gave it to her.
because I didn't start, I mean, right now, I'm betting the highest I ever do, and I am
And said,
not,
someday he'll get
I
there.
am not a high bet.
Okay,
I
what do you
am
want?
not a high bet.
But who's
And
ghost?
so for me to
Who's the
be
ghost?
a VIP at platinum level is pretty
where's the
rare,
mark?
but it's because I come for 4-day weekends and I spend a large amount of money just playing non-stop for 3 or 4 days.
Now, do you keep
Non-stop.
track of your losses?
no, I know.
Because you can deduct the losses off.
No, okay, no, that's not totally correct.
But then the
Formula that you're talking about,
No, I was.
and I don't know why they would do it. I didn't never quite understand why they were doing it. But
And I have to read it.
there was a pretty big dust up about it because the tribe was maintaining that because they were a sovereign nation, that they did not have to follow those particular tax rules. The judge ruled against the tribe because the judge said, well, you use those tax rules you don't want
I
to
got
follow.
some here.
When it benefits the tribe, don't you? And they had no argument to make because obviously they did.
No,
But
I
there
don't
was a
have the
casino
storage
that's,
like I had before.
it's kind of close to maybe Barrow. Can't remember the name of it.
Well, Ho Chunk is,
Ho Chunk.
Ho Chunk is,
Ho Chunk was a casino that was, they were in trouble for a while. I mean, this whole thing was iffy, and it took, it must have taken a year to go through the courts, you know. Because I think it went beyond Wisconsin and into the district court that Wisconsin's in. And that's where it was ruled against the tribe. But it didn't shut the casino down. Apparently they let them operate as usual. But they had to go in and then all kinds of federal CPAs or whatever those people are, went in there and they went back and they looked at their books for God knows how many years. And I think they ended up having to pay some pretty good fines. But those casinos, they make a pretty good profit. So they probably weren't
Well,
hurting.
In Minnesota,
We don't work sometimes.
Mystic Lake and Little Six is combined with Mystic
Yeah,
Lake.
that's a big operation.
Oh, yeah.
They're owned by the Menawaka.
Yep.
That is a very small
Right?
tribe.
Yeah.
And,
They're all driving Cadillacs. pulling
well,
RVs.
previously, you had to prove that you were a purebred Menawakaton. And those people would get like 3 mil on January 1st of each year. They would get like $3 million or whatever. And all of that. Well, then some of the like 50%ers started fighting, and apparently the court did say that
His only son that
they had
was getting
to
married.
give
But still, it's a
give
small-
something
It's
to
a
the
small
other.
tribe, they're still gonna get a pretty good salary.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were the highest.
But that was
In the United
expensive.
States.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had such a small output, they didn't have to share with.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
if you're sharing
But I
with
think
100
they've got a
people
lot
versus
of good
100 people.
Because I know,
But the tribes do it differently. It's up to the tribe.
It is up to the tribe.
And a small outfit like that, I mean, they could take, okay, we got 300 tribe members or whatever.
Well, because I also, part of the time was the equivalent of a platinum at Mystic years
There's no
ago.
hotel in
They used to
Somerset.
send me
The
this
summer-
weird
wherever it's
glossy,
fine.
Yeah, yeah.
wherever
it is.
end of year
That's
statement
knows?
type thing.
This godforsaken country's too damn cold up here. So they're a little grouchy, especially when the weather turns.
Go back where you came from.
Where?
Going down.
Oh, you were at Fort Hood then, you were stationed there.
Police? Oh, is that in police?
Were you ever stationed in Washington?
Wait a minute.
Washington
Yep.
State?
The yellow goes.
I was Fort Lewis.
Fort
Did
Hood?
you know what?
Fort Lewis.
Fort Lewis?
Washington.
That's where I went for my basic training.
Well, I had a really enjoyable little bus trip with a lot of those
Well, I didn't like Fort Lewis much
headed to Fort
because
Lewis.
I didn't like basic training, but I had 8 weeks of basic training in Fort Lewis, and then they sent me to Fort Ord, which is in Northern California. It's not that far from Fort Lewis, actually, and for advanced infantry training. But I got to ski when I was out there. That's what I really loved. Is between basic and advanced infantry, I had a 4-day pass. So I went to Snoqualmie Summit, which is a very famous ski place, and I skied for 4 days straight. You know, stayed there and just had a heck of a good time. Oh, man. I wasn't a good skier, but it was just so much fun.
Well, I was in
Because I was used to Mount Cato, you know, skiing.
I was in Seattle fooling around, and we missed the last bus out of Seattle, so they put us on a bus with all the Army guys from Fort Lewis. And they dropped us off at Fort Steilacoom Mental Hospital. That was in,
Well, that explains a lot, Ellen.
Why were you in Seattle?
that was in, let's see,
I'm trying to figure out what,
78 or 79.
somebody moved my,
Oh,
is this it?
No, that.
That's it, mine's
that's
the
yours.
spider.
I was, I got mine.
Mine's the spider.
Is mine?
Yeah, mine's the witch.
No, mine was a pumpkin, but I don't know who that's
What?
there.
No, it's not mine.
No.
It's a pumpkin, Liz pumpkin.
I had a
Pumpkin over
pumpkin.
here.
Here, that's mine.
That's Lord.
This is the spider, this is mine.
Mine was a pumpkin with a,
Then there's one over there.
oh, okay.
Here's a pumpkin.
Oh, then that would be mine.
Journey soldiers. And so I'd walk through that corridor to get to the finance office on the other end of that. And I'll tell you, that was not a very
Good girl.
good thing to see. because it was just, this was the worst of the worst. And so you would see rows and rows and rows of guys in wheelchairs
Fits
with
right in
limbs
there, that
missing.
little nose, huh?
And of course, the corridor was, you know, like about as wide as this house actually. And so they would wheel everybody out. It was glass enclosed with a glass roof. And so the weather in Germany isn't so good a lot of the time. So they would roll them out so they can enjoy the sunshine and all that sort of thing. And I'd have to walk through that. I was so depressed after that. You know, because, you know, I was fortunate. You know, I didn't have to go. You know, I got drafted, but I got drafted late enough that they kind of weren't sending people as much. You know, they had gone down with that. But then I get over to Germany and see that. It was just awful. It was
What was
just
awful?
awful.
Just like,
All of the wounded soldiers coming
oh,
back.
yeah, they came
Because they
to,
came from the battlefield.
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially, they load
Yeah.
them on a chopper, put them on a jet, and send them to Rhein-Main
right,
Air
right,
Base,
right.
where the
Boy,
finance office was, where I worked. And so it was just,
yeah, just the
it was a terrible
cruelty.
experience.
Sit down.
Yeah.
It sobered me down, I'll tell you. My goodness. And every one of them looked like they were 16.
They were pretty neat.
You know, they were 18, 19,
Yeah.
20, 21 years old, you know.
You wonder if they're gonna have to start the draft again because of what, 30–40% down if people aren't going in.
Yeah, they're not going in because a lot of their recruiting was family, within families. Fathers and their sons would go in and their sons would go in. That line has been cut now with all this woke stuff. A lot of these kids, they don't want to go in the army. They don't want to serve their country in any way.
A couple of the top generals or the top guys that are just weird, they hired transgressors and that to entertain the troops.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and who wants to see that crap? You know, you go in with a serious obligation, and yeah,
They got to train. The only reason the army exists is to be combat ready. That's their only mission.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always only mission, combat ready. All this other crap they're bringing in is just going to compromise that.
My oldest son was in 22 years, National Guard, and
Oh, really?
yeah,
Did he ever get called to active service?
yes, he spent two years while there was a part.
in Afghanistan.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes, and he was head of his division, but boy,
yeah, he was.
yeah, his hearing isn't as good, and he got
But was
sand in
he
his lungs.
influenced by the fact that you were in the military?
He
Did
just-
that have a,
Probably,
yeah?
but yeah.
But didn't they pay for his education too, I think, didn't that help?
no,
Didn't they put some-
Jason, well,
Jason went to the U of M and Steve to Mankato,
yeah.
but didn't the government?
Steve went to Mankato and signed up for, he got his education at Mankato first.
Was he in ROTC?
No.
Okay.
So he, out of-
Well, he wasn't on the GI Bill at that time. That was before the service, right?
See, I thought he went in to help pay his education too.
Do you
but-
want some
He got
water,
some,
Penny?
Jason got his.
Not yet. I'll
My
when
second one
I'm
was
ready.
4 years in the Navy.
Oh.
And he went to,
But see, that's, you don't see that now. You don't see that, you know, children following their folks into the military.
Well, not with the way the
well,
culture is
our dad
today.
signed up for what, he was being drafted and then the war ended? or
No,
what was
no,
the
he
deal?
wasn't drafted, but he volunteered. He was gonna go into the Seabees, you know, that flying group, and the war ended, so they didn't need him. So,
So,
I
and then I have
remember
a
my
cousin,
dad,
well, two cousins that were, Kenneth and James both.
well, they were in the series, huh?
Just,
Yeah, James was.
yeah, Kenneth and James both.
Oh,
I don't know if they ever went anywhere.
I don't think so,
They
no,
were in the
no.
States all the time, but that's the only one in my family that,
But Steve, her son, boy, his hearing from all the bombs and the firing, and he got sand in his lungs, yeah.
So what do they do with the lungs now with the sand in it? Is it just
I don't
garbage
even know.
or what?
No, it's just something you live with,
Just
but,
they can't
Oh, he's
expel
got
it.
now.
huh?
He's got it now too. Diabetic.
Is diabetic
diabetic, yeah,
now.
Okay, go ahead for that.
I
Well,
remember my dad, he didn't talk about his military, but my sister Donna was born 3 days after Pearl Harbor.
really, oh,
December 10th was her birthday. And my mom, of course, you know, and so my dad,
So do they call her Pearl?
yeah, surprise. You know, Maggie, Margaret, Margie, she had all I did.
Sandra, can I help you?
Dad called her Maggie. But anyway, so he went into the military, and because his older brother went into the Air Force and ended up with the 8th Air Force in England, flying, what were they? B-24 Liberator, I think was the name of it. But at any rate, so Dad thought, you know, and he had got all of his basic training in the South. So the only story that Dad ever repeated very often was he was going to go in because he was sick of winter weather in Wisconsin. Because we grew up near St. Croix, Wisconsin. See. And so he thought, this would be great. I'll go in the Army. They'll send me down south. They send everybody down south. Okay, so he goes in. He's getting his, you know, they do their pledge, and then they go off to get their uniforms and all this sort of a thing, you know. And so they get settled down in their barracks and all this, and they're asking, where's everybody from? And, you know, they're from Illinois, or they're from Texas, or from whatever. And I think his basic training was somewhere in Arkansas. So he thought he had it made. I mean, he is going to be walking in tall cotton, warm year round, and no winter to deal with and all this sort of thing. And they went through the barracks and they were asking all of the new recruits, where are you from? Where are you from? South Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Pennsylvania, wherever it all is. So then they said, everybody from Wisconsin, North Dakota, Minnesota, and maybe one other state, whatever, northern Montana or whatever it was, you know,
The Midwest.
come with me. So they had all of these guys from all this huge numbers of recruits going, all the ones, they sent them all to Alaska because they figured they were from Minnesota and Wisconsin. They were used to the cold, and so he thinks he's going to be in the South, and he ends up in Alaska. For God's sake. Ended up getting trench foot. You know, because it was so damn cold, and he was stationed for a while in the Aleutians in Sitka, and you know, when Pearl Harbor occurred, kind of thing. So. And so, because the Japanese were actually in Alaska for a while, on their island, Sitka and Attu and those islands. So he got trench foot, you know, from the cold. Frostbite, I guess you call it, frostbite, and pneumatic fever. So he gets all the way up there. Ends up, he's in Kiska for like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. He gets the frostbite, gets pneumatic fever. They send him to Cold Harbor, Alaska. It was a harbor in there. They had a hospital. Military hospital there. So he's in the hospital for about a week. The Japanese bombed the hospital. Fortunately, they missed the hospital itself where he was, but they bombed some of the outbuildings and that sort of thing.
Oh my goodness.
And so then he ends up, you know, getting sent back to the States. And all this while, all this is going on. Mom's got a newborn, my oldest daughter, or my oldest sister. And so you know, she's just months old.
Donna.
So
She was.
they sent all the people that were in the hospital at Cold Harbor, and they sent them to Walla Walla, Washington, because there was a big military base there, and they had these Quonset huts. And they built hundreds of Quonset huts, and the families of the soldiers who were stationed there and recovering there medically, and other soldiers, their families could stay in the Quonset huts.
Wonderful person.
So my mother stayed in the Quonset hut with the newborn, and it was a community. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds of wives and families in this huge compound of Quonset huts.
Yeah, we've got
And so
Quonset huts.
years later, Mom is at the nursing home just outside of town here, because she's come back to Minnesota after my dad died, and my two
Weren't
sisters
they
are
out
kind of
in,
caring for her. They're in Carolina.
Yeah.
Before Dad died, he died out there. But Mom then moved here, but she was in a nursing home where my sister worked. And so I came down once from Roberts, and I'm going to visit Mom, and she's, you know, she's in kind of advanced dementia by this point, you know. So I go into the dining room. They're all in the dining room. It's lunchtime when I get down there. Big dining room, huge round tables, 12 to a big round table, right?
Wow.
And they're all coming in
They're
and
all so
sitting
good.
there, and they got a nice meal. You know, they got mashed potatoes, they got carrots, and you know, this and that, the other thing. And I'm sitting here, and Mom's sitting across from me, across this big table, and we're having this conversation. She has no idea who I am. You know, so I'm kind of saying, well, that's fine. You know, we'll talk anyway. You know, so and so it was just so hilarious, because apparently someone was late getting to the table, and so finally the last person that was assigned to that table gets there, and they got a bag full of clothes that their son or daughter had given them, and of
Plus
course
us.
clothes.
Plus us. We gave her a present, it was a birthday.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Get into that.
Oh,
Well, anyway, I had a
But you
bag on
couldn't
my
sit
lap,
next to her.
and I had some.
they were all taking
You know,
a
loose fitting clothes, easy to get on clothes, sweatpants and that sort of a thing. And so I give it to the person to the right of me and ask her to pass it down to Maggie in the end. You know, and so of course they can't pass it down, but I take a look at it, you know. And so, you know, there's like 5 or 6
You gave
pieces
us
of
some nice-
clothing in there.
nice.
The clothing is all over the table. And of course they're not really coordinated, they're not thinking really straight. You know, there's potatoes are on the clothes and gravy's on the clothes. Yeah. So, you know, salad dressing, and it was a mess. It was an absolute mess.
She had a nice nightgown.
Oh, God, yeah. It was just, it was so
was
funny.
dragged
though.
across
I
the
mean, my
table.
goodness. But
Why
then
did
she
you
saw.
stand up and hand it to
So
her?
I asked her, you know, I said, well, you know, Maggie, you got a new grandson, you know, and he must only been 3 years old when I went down there or something, you know, but
No, Ian.
yeah,
You
Ian,
said
that's what I
his name.
said.
Yeah, but you said his name.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, you got his name is Ian, and she looks and she's thinking, you know, I think there was an Ian somewhere in our family back when. You know, but she never did. She never did make the connection at all.
Bless
you
her
know.
heart.
Yeah.
But you were there.
She
Yeah,
was,
but you know, it's
she
just
was
that.
so musical
Yeah,
too.
and then, you know, like I was saying, you know, my dad never talked about the military, never, not a word. You couldn't get him to say anything about it. But then after Mom died, my sister Donna was executor of her estate. And Mom had kept all of his letters that he wrote her when he was in Alaska. And, you know, in the military and all that sort of
It
a
was
thing.
just up there. Here,
And that was an honor.
I'll show you when you see this.
Because the way a lot of the letters, a lot of the letters would be blacked out.
Oh,
Because the letters all had to go through censors. And so the only thing the letters had would be positive things. You know, happy things or, you know, this sort of thing. Anything that was negative, censors would just
As
take
it was
right out.
flying away.
And sometimes it would be half or 3/4 of the letter would be
Now,
missing.
did you
You know.
one of these?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't, I shouldn't have said blackout, they actually cut it out. I don't know how they would do that, shut knives or something, but they cut out the sentences. And so you'd open up a letter and there'd be, holes in the letter. Really strange. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the town was Watertown.
Pardon me?
Watertown, Wisconsin.
Watertown, yeah.
Yeah, I was born. You born in Watertown? Too, yeah,
And then we lived in Waukesha.
yeah.
Waukesha, they
That's
say.
a long ways from the west side of Wisconsin, though. From Hudson, that's the other side of the state.
Oh,
We
yeah,
had
right down by
southeast-
Milwaukee,
Southeast corners, that kind of thing. Yeah. There's
There's a
not another
light.
car, and there's a red light, and so of course, what do I stop? And I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't I stop? There's not another car within eyesight anywhere, it's just happen, you stop. Next thing I know, someone's trying to get in the car.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing that I had a Saab 900.
Oh, was that,
Yeah, it was a Saab 900 Turbo.
was that the one that you got from me, my little?
No,
I had that was a silver one. That was after your car. Yeah. Your car may be falling over Saabs, but anyway. But when you close the door, turn on the ignition, your doors will automatically lock. Which I think all cars do it now, but back then that was kind of cool.
Thank goodness.
And so I didn't even know my doors were locked or not. I wasn't aware of that. You tried to get in the door, you couldn't get in.
And you pulled away real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna
just-
say,
well,
hit
was
that
it.
turbo
I had
button
I had a
and-
5-speed, so I just put that in first gear and I just burned
Was
right
this
out
a
of
shot?
the intersection.
Was it black, white, or indifferent? Who's
I
trying to
couldn't
get in?
tell. I couldn't tell. It was
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
I kind of got a glimpse as you came up to the window in my peripheral vision, caught something, and I looked, and it's not close,
Sure.
just far
Probably
away
didn't
as
break the window
anything.
with a gun or something.
And then something just told me I better get out of here. I mean, and then I think it was just instant, because I don't even remember
Well, sure.
shifting.
Light.
Well,
You just get that.
Did you ever watch Hannity? Or at least the radio, on the radio program? He does advertises
He's a
Verna
socialist.
Guns, BYRNA, and they're legal in every state, and you don't have to have a license or anything. It's called BYRNA. And what it does, it shoots out mace and pepper spray. And you can have a big guy, and you shoot that, and the guy will go down. And,
Spray.
huh? Yeah.
Sprays out
and-
and then he ingests it, I suppose.
Yeah, and the guy will go down, but it doesn't kill him or anything. And I thought, I'd like to pick up one of those, but they're about $500. And, huh?
I think if you just growl at somebody, they'll run
Yeah.
away. That's my thing. Yeah.
But you know, I'm really, it's just, I mean, I travel a lot alone, and sometimes it's at night and
Or at
everything.
least have the little spray one.
Well, I'm not gonna get that close, I'll just pull out that.
Oh, I
See, it's a
Get little
pistol,
further.
yeah, oh, yeah. And the only thing is mace is not allowed like in New York City, I guess, in the state of New York.
That's all.
But otherwise, you don't need any kind of,
Yeah, but who's gonna sue you after that? They're trying to attack you. Well, not that they did.
yeah, no, but I don't know, I mean, and somebody said, it doesn't really, they might think it's a toy gun or something, I don't know, but apparently people that have them have been really pleased. So I told her son, my nephew, I said, just study that a little bit, give me your opinion. And as far as like in my house, I always had my dog, and boy, he was really good, if anybody was near, boy, yap. But now that he's in doggy heaven, I don't have him.
Get another one.
People all around me have,
You can have Sandra. She yaps at me all the time.
there you go with Sandra.
She's really good at it.
She's,
Yeah.
Well,
What was she outside?
See, did your kids ever take advantage of the GI Bill then when they got out?
Yes, for education.
Yeah, well, they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember my dad used the GI Bill when he got out, and he went to Iowa State, and that was one of the best programs ever created, because you had literally millions of people millions of men coming out of the military and there were no jobs. There were no jobs. And so a lot of them went to school.
No, Jason went to you.
And he went down to, he majored in science and agriculture. And he ended up being a soil conservationist here in Blue Earth County for about 30 years. He was the federal soil conservationist for this county. And, that was a godsend. And it was in Ames. Iowa State is in Ames, Iowa. And it was started as an agricultural college and became a lot, like all of them, they expanded and all that sort of thing. But the same concept that my mom lived in at Fort Walla Walla, Washington, all of the GIs and their families were housed in Quonset huts. And the Quonset huts were cut in half. A family on each side of the Quonset hut. And while he was going to Iowa State, that's where they lived. And so he had the GI Bill and he worked part-time on a hemp farm, growing hemp for the Navy, because all the rope is made from hemp. But you can also smoke hemp. And
So maybe, I mean,
yeah, it's a little bit of a what is it called? Hallucinogenic. It has the same, some of the same properties as marijuana has.
yeah.
So he was telling the story, all these GIs are out there and they're harvesting and processing this hemp, whatever they have to do with that. And it's in a warehouse and all that sort of a thing. And he noticed so many of them smoke pipes. Because he smoked cigarettes in the Army because they were free.
Yeah, it's not
You just go to the PX and get as many cartons of cigarettes as you wanted to, And so he said, well, I think I'm going to start smoking a pipe. Because he thought that was pretty cool, smoking a pipe. He said, these guys, they were so nice. They were so easy to get along with. They were so mellow and all that sort of thing. So, they'd have breaks. They'd work, and then they'd have breaks and they'd light up their pipes and sit around on crates and shoot the breeze and all this sort of a thing, smoking on their pipes. So, my dad, he's straight off the farm. He's, he doesn't know from nothing, So, what tobacco are you using? I've never really smelled that kind. Well, try it out, So he puts this hemp in his, pretty soon, and he said, then I understood why everybody was in such a mode. But it was good for the GIs, they made a lot of money, working at the hemp farms
and
in
what do you think?
Ames.
All of them that they got hooked on smoking because they were, free cigarettes.
Yeah.
Too bad it wasn't just free candy or something, instead of,
And all the fat.
Diabetes.
Yeah, drugging soldiers is nothing new. Hitler drugged his soldiers. The Blitzkrieg and the unbelievable things that they were able to accomplish in such short period of time. Fighting, hand-to-hand fighting, 36 hours straight on the move, fighting. They were higher than a kite. And as a matter of fact, Eisenhower approved the use of amphetamines for the military prior to the D-Day landings. Now, there's no proof that it was actually used, but they had enough amphetamine to supply 250 soldiers for 3 months. And I'm sure it must have been in their minds, this is going to be a brawl when we land in Normandy, and we better make sure we have every edge. So there are some people now to this day that maintain that that was actually distributed on D-Day. But there's not a lot of proof to it. But it was okayed by Eisenhower.
James Arness, who played Matt Dillon, the guy was 6'7", and he was on one of these boats at the Battle of Inzio. And so the boats came in real quietly, and they didn't know how deep the water was, so they sent him out being 6'7", and then he'd tell how deep the water was. and then a cannon blew his leg, and he was like in the hospital for over a year. But it was interesting, you know, here the guy is so tall, in Battle of Inzio.
Yeah. Lee Marvin was at D-Day, and his job was to go in first. His group, he was in the Marines, and his group were the first to go in, and their job was to sneak up in and try to blow up the pillboxes that would be guarding, and that's what Lee Marvin did. And he did it in D-Day, but he after D-Day, he did the same thing in the Pacific, and he did it at Iwo Jima, Kwajalein, and what was the other? I can't remember the name of it, in the Marshall Islands string. But anyway, Lee Marvin did that for 4 years. Anytime there was any kind of landing. And he said out of the company, they had 220, and I guess they called them sappers, was what they called it, because they blew things up. He said out of the original 220 they had in their company, at the end of the war, there were 17 of them still alive, and he was one of them.
Hello. Would you outside? Yeah, that really.
But he got injured by one of his own sappers, who didn't tell him where one of the charges were, and so he got injured by friendly fire.
He was weird all his life, though. That Lee Marvin, he was kind of, maybe that set a baseline or something. You know, I'd love to go to France, to Normandy, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I've been to France, but I never went to Normandy.
what is she doing?
Just check out cookies.
I know. Well,
You can bring them over here.
bring them over, Sandra.
No.
Are you gonna share the?
I went a 3-day pass, and I went to Paris.
Oh,
When I was in the army. The payroll came around in Germany to my pay office in Frankfurt, and they used to unload thousands and thousands of dollars worth of Deutschmarks, because what we would do is the soldiers would get paid in cash in Germany at that time, just cash. I'd take a Jeep and a duffel bag full of $150,000, $200,000, M16 rifle and a Jeep, and go out to the armored units and go from tank to tank, paying them in cash and then exchanging it to Deutschmarks. You know, Via Flicken and all over the place. Grafenwehr, all of the little towns that had elements of tank or artillery corps and all that sort of thing. So the armored truck would come and unload all the Deutschmarks and the cash for payroll, right? Well, it left, and a packet of 50 Deutschmark notes bound up in rubber bands. I walked outside to have a butt, right? And I looked down, and there's a bundle of 50 Deutschmark notes. Must have been worth, I don't know, $20,000.
Where'd that come from?
What did you do with it?
$10,000 or something like. I brought it in and turned it in.
You could have slipped one in your.
Down. Oh, I don't know. I could have taken the whole thing. God almighty. Anyway, they gave me a 3-day pass.
Oh, for your honesty. See, honesty pays.
Yeah.
But don't mention Deutschmark. So to Sandra and I, when we went with Pauline, the three of us landed in Copenhagen, and then we took the ship from southern Denmark to northern Germany. Well, then you've got, the coins that are in Denmark, you got to switch them over to the Deutschmarks and stuff.
Sure,
Yeah.
We never had to go to the bathroom so much as we did because you had to pay to get in. And Sandra and I, we stopped at a gas station. We had to go to the bathroom so bad, and you had to always pay. Well, we didn't have Deutschmarks.
So you
we had
hadn't gone
something
to the
else.
bathroom for what, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Yeah. So we didn't have the right coins. So then, and the doors are locked. So I went like this. Sandra climbed over the top, to open up the door. And when she went over, she hit the ceiling and then all of the,
Dust.
the, you know, the tile, the what off fell down. So she went to the bathroom, and then I got in there, went to the bathroom, but the ceiling we really wrecked, you know, and we quickly ran out then.
They
That was
should have
bad.
arrested
And
you.
then Sandra, we had this pile with little bag of trash, remember that?
Yes.
And Sandra was gonna, she took the trash and put it in the trash barrel, and a woman comes running out of the gas station. You take that. She had to take it out of the trash barrel and put it back in our car. Remember that?
Yeah, well, I don't get that.
Yeah, why did they do that? Yeah. So she took it out of the trash, we put it back in the car, and we drove
Was the
off.
trash outside or inside?
It was outside, there was a trash
By the
barrel.
car, you get
So-
gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they made a statement,
Are you supposed to
but
pay
we
some?
flew out of there because if anybody else went into the bathroom and saw,
But they didn't treat the GIs very well in Germany. at all.
No.
I mean, they hated it. A lot of Germans hated the fact that we were there after so long, you know.
but
Because
yeah.
I was there in '72, and
Well, that's when
Well,
we
that was
went
just-
about that time too. That's the time you were.
73, 74 we went, I think, 73.
Yeah, but it was
74.
about that time. It
Yeah,
was still.
they just didn't like Americans. The French hated Americans. I made the
Even though,
mistake of wearing my uniform.
Yeah.
even though,
Well, no, I had a pass. I had to wear my uniform. That was the story.
oh,
And you wear a uniform in
And you're in
France,
Target.
they'll spit on you. French people
even
will just
though
spit on you.
D-Day, yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah. So I didn't enjoy France at all.
You know, my
But the
parents,
Germans, they
Did you buy
they took the
change of
GIs
clothes?
for everything they could get. What?
Did you buy a change of clothes and quick change once you got
No,
there?
you're supposed to wear your uniform. You know.
but now
At least
Paris is
then,
real
I
dirty.
don't know what the rules are now.
Paris is real dirty now, though. Yes.
It was
Real
dirty
dirty
then.
city, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go sometime, I don't know.
Hmm.
I'd like to go, but I think I'd go to
There's lots of
Ireland
bed bugs.
first. I'd go to Ireland first. I read up on this. Ireland is one of the wealthiest countries, and I never knew that. Yeah, Ireland, yeah.
We were lucky to get to Germany. Our dad just wished when he retired, gonna take my mom to Germany.
Oh,
He retired and had a massive heart attack. and
bless
Retired
his
in
heart.
October, had a massive heart attack in November, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Oh,
And they said, oh, he was doing good. They moved him out of intensive care, and Sunday he had another heart attack.
So Sanders' brother-in-law, Jim Windsor,
Yeah,
his family is from Germany, you know,
Yeah.
immigrated from Germany. But they lived in a little town called Aachen, Aachen, right on the border. And so Aachen actually was the first town that the U.S. military came into when they first crossed the border into Germany. So that town was basically obliterated. But and so the Germans knew they were coming, and you know they'd been inching their way up since D-Day, and so now it's September, and they're at the German border now. And Aachen was the first time
Never
that
heard
was
of that.
attacked by U.S. military on German soil in World War II.
our relatives were from.
Little town,
Baden-Baden.
little tiny town. It's just a little river town.
Did you get into the Black Forest area?
No.
That was.
Well, I went by it. I mean, I went to Munich,
Oh, yeah.
you know, but I never
München.
stopped.
hey,
München is
what
they
was
say in
that?
Germany,
To-
yeah.
oh, Frankfurt. That was a piggy
Oh.
town.
Frankfurt's
Oh.
an industrial
I know it. Yeah, but it was a
grime on
oink.
everything.
It's oink oink
My
town.
dad said when we were there, we'll be sure to call up the Steffens, you know. So I went into the phone booth, and here was a directory.
1,000 Stephens.
So I just ripped the pages out and I took it home and I said, Dad, you call these people. How do you go about calling? Yeah, all of these, yeah. So I just wore it out.
Did he follow up on it?
I haven't gave it to him, I don't know, but, you know, but.
I think Sanders' family was in an area which was also adjacent on her mother's side, the Kiekhofer side of her family. They were in an area that was at one time called the Sudetenland. And it was actually part of Czechoslovakia, but it was about 80 to 90% Germans who were in this. And it was actually one of the things that precipitated the war because Hitler wanted those Germans in the realm. He wanted it in the Third Reich. And so he walked into Sudetenland and took it over. And that's really the thing that really lit the fire that started World War II. Then, of course, they tried to appease Hitler, and he walked into Austria and, and then eventually Poland. And the only reason they reacted when he walked into Poland was because there was a treaty between Britain, the United States, and Poland, or Britain and Poland, that they would defend each other mutually. And but her mother's family was in that area of Sudetenland. So they were German, but they were.
I always heard Southern Germany, but.
Yeah, that's yeah. So
Oh, I stuck
it's
it
not too
I
far
told
from
I told
Munich.
let's see what's here. Yes, slide a chair over. Want to see what's here.
Oh, yeah. In the morning, they get to the top of the trees and just sing their hearts out. Yeah. I think Jim told me that town was Aachen. A-A-C-H-E-N.
Okay.
That really rings a bell. There were
I
more than
remember,
once.
Trisha?
Didn't you go and meet somebody who was related?
Yeah, in Peterson, and there's a bigger town next to it, I just forgot it.
But this is there in
It's the whole
Eastern?
east.
Oh, okay.
There's another town
You
too.
went there 3 years ago? When you went to?
Oh, with the boys? Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that was a long time.
Camera's on.
At the store, so.
Oh, I'm not
It must have
blocking
been 10
it.
years ago.
Yeah, no, it's at Costco, not
Are you getting everything? All the stories?
another aunt lived in there.
Well, are you cutting people's heads off?
Aw.
Okay.
Well, actually, we should sing happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Well, let's sing.
Oh,
Are you
Out
ready?
in the hall, Ian.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ian. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Stand up and take a bow.
Stand up.
Stand up and take a
What
bow.
do you say?
Thank you.
Ah,
Well, Ian, because of you, you brought us all together.
yes.
When you
When you
came
were
on
born.
the scene,
You almost was a Halloween baby.
you could have almost. Well, you could have called him Hallow or Weenie
Oh,
or
thank
something.
you. Oh,
Oh
yippee.
gosh. Oh,
You gotta share your,
Sam-
you gotta share your cards.
here's the deal, Sandra. Maybe I'll just get one of the. Oh,
Yeah,
your card that I specially picked out.
yeah. I'll see it next year.
Not many.
I wrote out this card and I mailed it out to my brother.
Perfect gift for you.
Oh,
What is that? What is that?
You see that?
we gotta pass it around.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that was from me.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, now, yeah, read it out loud, what it says in the inside.
Yeah. Keep your.
Now. What does it say out there, on there?
We have all benefited from the rich blessings He's brought to us, and the gracious blessing of another. John 1:16.
Then on the other side. No. On the right side.
The God's full of goodness and daily blessings to enjoy. Happy birthday.
Okay, that's a gift certificate.
Here.
He knows all about
It's a gift
those.
certificate to Applebee's restaurant.
Okay.
So now you
Say,
gotta
say
go
it.
out and celebrate at Applebee's.
Applebee's is a great place.
Huh?
It really
Yeah,
is. Yeah. Take us all out.
We actually been doing that with these for a
It
long
is
time.
Saturday. Oh,
Thank you, Mark.
We used to go all the time when we were in the cities. Oh, there was one in Hudson too,
Yeah.
so they're all.
I feel real.
Oh, cute.
23.
You know who's that from? Go read it.
22.
Hey, you're
Just
putting
here's the
camera.
sign. What was it?
Oh.
It was that you said, oh, that looked good as a picture of a chicken sandwich.
Oh, cute.
What was the name of that?
Happy birthday, Ann. Wishing you the happiest birthday on your son.
Well, Five Guys, a bunch of those.
Oh, say
Let's
thank
see
you.
that.
There was another one that.
Pat. Oh, cute.
Not Chick-fil-A, but something
Oh,
like that.
okay.
From Pat.
Subway type shop or?
Cute.
Maybe, but it was, I think that was a picture of a chicken sandwich and it
Oh,
looked pretty good.
Chick-fil-A?
No, not that.
Is there one down at
I've
Mankato?
never eaten at Chick-fil-A, have you?
I don't think so.
No, I think you did. I think you ate there all the time.
No, I never.
I've
never
heard
been
that
there.
their
Oh.
salads are wonderful. Their
Terry,
salads
I
are
am
really
hoping your
great.
birthday brings you happy reasons to celebrate. Happy birthday, Alan.
Oh, I think so.
Say, Ian,
And say,
how come you took the money out of this before I had to look at it?
that's my card.
That's her card.
I took the money out.
Money to begin with.
I gave the money. Oh, cute. Thank you.
Let's see, what does that card look?
Here,
Is that picture on? Oh, birthday wishes.
we're gonna just do this. Cute. Cute. It's
like
the minute he's photographing and all. From Lois. Birthday wishes from Alan.
I can't believe that that camera is getting any of those pictures.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, I guess we will.
We love the Polly to celebrate you. We love a Polly to
Oh,
celebrate.
that's cute.
Potty.
Party.
There's a potty. A potty. Let me see what that. That's cute. Oh, cute. Potty, you know? Pa.
Isn't that?
This is party.
It's like a white horse.
Potty.
I know.
Yeah, that should look good on the camera.
Well, Carrie and Ted.
That's cute.
Oh, is that a birthday card?
Yeah, isn't that cute?
Oh, no. Gas stations have really good, huh?
I found it at Aldi.
Oh, that's cute as can be.
Yeah, it was private, yeah, they are now.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, now look at your bags. You too, Mark. You got a bag by your foot.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Lois, take yours. Alan, Pat.
okay.
My goodness.
Oh, Sandra.
Oh, Lois.
Oh, Sandra.
Oh, Lois. Didn't that come out nice?
Oh.
Didn't that come out beautiful?
Yes. Do we all have the same
That's
picture?
great. Yes.
Oh,
That
Did
is
you
cool.
read? Did you read the
I haven't
back?
opened it yet.
That
Did you
is-
read the back?
Oh, you, oh.
Did you read the back?
I did.
Good, you
It's
did.
very cute.
Well, I wouldn't, I had that time to turn it over.
No, that's why I gave
Oh,
it.
cute.
That's very,
This is
very
from
cute.
last year, huh?
I don't, oh.
Yeah, last year's picture.
Walgreens.
That's really
No, I go
cute.
through my computer and I have to make it, I have to go through my
Well,
computer.
you got a decent smile, Sandra. You weren't talking or looking.
No, well,
Oh my goodness.
I
Everybody
did.
looks nice.
Yeah, you got goodies.
I do.
Now let me tell you about those goodies.
I think I know everything there is to know about these goodies.
Now that's goodies to take home some
Love that.
soup.
All of these.
We're gonna wash it and we're gonna take home some soup.
Sandra.
We're gonna take home some soup.
I love
And you
these.
can take home whatever you want with that.
This is the Zen.
I love them.
I love it. I have a bunch.
Sandra.
Oh, do you really?
So it's birthday for me and Chris
Oh, I
for
love
them.
these colors.
No, this is their party dress.
Sandra.
What? I love it.
Nutmeg.
Sandra,
Love that. Sandra.
I love them. I got my soup in there, but you're taking
didn't,
What?
I didn't get a bag.
Yeah, you're the only one that didn't do it.
Oh,
Hi, Beady.
there's probably a reason for that.
Some reasoning.
Oh, yeah.
What a haul. Oh, I
Hey, did you read your card?
Use these and
Wait a
put your
minute.
specialties
Did you
when you
read
go to
your
work for your
card?
lunch.
What did it say?
I don't know if this,
Like, it's supposed to be.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
Now he's, oh, no, but it's, you get that.
I like this with
I
you.
was being facetious.
Oh, look, 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 this, it's,
Oh, look at that.
Oh, you know what those are?
I do. I have not the decorated ones, but I have some blue ones.
Oh, I'm glad I gave you the blue. I kept the blue.
Now what?
I get
Oh,
the
they're
red.
darling.
I get the, you put them on your feet
Right,
when
you put them
wash
on your feet
floors.
and it mops your floors.
Yeah, when
but-
you clean in the bathroom, I love them.
They also fit over the
Yes.
Swiffer flat
Oh, yeah,
bar
yeah, I
thing.
don't have that.
Well, I do, and they work beautiful, and then
Yes.
you throw them in the wash,
Yeah.
and you don't have to buy any of the, you know.
Wait a minute, so what do you
You just don't put any.
No, do you know what kind of bulbs these are?
No,
No, they're not.
picks up
This is
dust
your
or
lights
what?
go out.
no dryer sheets.
Your lights go out.
It's not water softener,
But you
it's
have
the
to
liquid
charge them on a regular
conditioner
lamp.
stuff
No, I
you don't
haven't.
use. Just regular soap and
Just
water.
put them in a regular
Soap
lamp.
and
or a
water.
Yeah, and then when
charge.
you're ready to carry around the house,
So you want to
And washer and dryer.
Like you just leave them in the
They are wonderful.
what do you use for
And then if your
it?
power goes out,
You can put them on your feet and dust the floor and the floorboards and everything with your foot.
they,
But they also fit, yeah, they also fit over, you know, the Swiffer flatboard things. And they're washable, so you don't have to buy the disposable stuff.
What color did you get, Tricia?
And it just
Well, if you got
charges.
a naughty
Green with
magazine and you're
Christmas.
under the covers looking at the pictures,
My
you
goodness.
can use
What
that.
you need is a lantern for that.
I usually my phone.
Boy,
Thank you.
a gift bag of, yeah, holy,
Isn't this right?
this is Christmas.
I love this. I love
When
this.
we were visiting
I
the
haven't
box
seen it
shop,
yet.
Open it up inside.
Oh, no, no, I haven't.
we had the entire,
Yeah, there is.
all of the rosters were just absolutely covered with those box shops.
Oh, a mirror.
A week,
No, a mirror.
2 weeks, and now we're going.
And it's lights, it lights.
I don't have the sticker on.
There's
You,
a,
if you pull the plastic out and you push the button so that, like, for a menu on a dark menu, and you just hold the button down and magnify and
We
read.
all need that.
they're the orange ones.
I gave those to everybody last Christmas in my family. Yeah.
Good, you take this out.
I didn't, I gave them all away. I gave them all away.
But it works.
Oh my gosh, yes, you're right.
Here, Patty.
This,
You can even do that or whatever.
you can keep it, it saves the battery if you want. You just push it back in there.
It works. That's ridiculous. Then you know you go and you get something off the shelf in the garage.
But you
and
push the button
you know,
and you
oh,
have
I need one of these. You pull it out.
lighted magnifier so that you can, for things that are hard to read,
On the back.
Like if you're in a restaurant.
like I keep them in my purse so that I can read like menus and stuff. You just, no, you push, yeah, just push the button and hold it, and then look, and you can read.
You can either way, see?
Oh, these, I love these colors.
If you
I would
hold
pick
it
out
up
these colors.
against Lois's head, it'll tell you what she's thinking.
It's magic.
You may not want to know, but I just thought, you know, it's up to you, of course.
I don't know what it is. Oh my God.
Oh, ladies and any big box store to have this.
From Amazon.
It's got a little punch spray.
I'll let you
Yeah,
know.
you can spray 3 feet up on the house and 3 feet on the ground.
Oh, hot
Because they
chocolate.
say beetles.
Sandra, this is so
come from
neat.
the ground.
And a napkin.
Oh, that's
That's
cute.
It matches that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, look
So
at
you
this.
spray
3 feet up.
It's not
On top
it's
and
just
3
a
feet from the bottom.
matching.
Bottom up on the house.
Oh, just the bottom up.
Temptation.
That's right.
So cute.
Oh my God, temptation.
These are washed, by the way. These are used, you can, I did dishwasher.
Cute, cute.
Oh, and Beekman.
I have Beekman. Oh, I love that
Beekman.
stuff.
I have a bunch of Beekman.
I love Beekman.
Oh, this is wonderful. Oh my God.
Are we getting
This is a
Beekman too?
Christmas. Yeah.
I do too. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I get the with
I already had it.
body cream.
I got that.
And I've got face.
What does yours say? What does yours say?
Same thing. Everybody get the same.
Oh, right on the
Mom, you're in front of the camera.
Oh, yeah.
This is more like Christmas.
This
No,
is
it's not. Oh, no, I need to have some shade.
You went above and beyond.
beautiful.
Because there's something on there.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
This one you see when I'm looking at
That's a nice size
So
container.
I gave it to all my friends.
Ian,
Yeah.
that's a gift certificate to Applebee's. So now you can
And I thought he
head out to Applebee's if you want to whatever.
That's a good idea.
I know. So, that's my recognition
Yes.
for your loss.
Hey, show your light bulb.
I have it.
What such unusual things, Sandra. Oh, gosh.
This
It's
is
fun stuff,
so
though.
lovely.
It's fun stuff.
Well, what a
I like the magnifying glass.
what a gift.
I didn't think
What
I'd
a
ever
gift
need
bag.
it, but so many times I'm.
Oh, you girls are not done yet.
You know what? Those
Hopefully
things,
I'll be more prepared
those
next
are
time.
wonderful.
I know, they look great.
Yeah, but you unscrew, like, put it into your,
Well,
like,
yeah.
no,
Is that cute?
I have mine in a,
In memory of David.
Oh.
It's a
lamp in my living room. I have a big, long living room. And you, in order to charge it, you keep the light turned on for 24, it's at least 8 hours, I can't remember how long. I just left it on. It totally charges it. Then you just use it like a normal
That's so now
light
every time you
bulb.
cook for your family.
But when a storm hits and you have no light, you just turn on your lamp and it lights my entire, you know, I have a big, long
Kenny.
living room.
Oh, wow, cool.
This now, listen.
I have one of those.
I have 4 of these.
I have a bunch.
I
I
got
have
very-
all of those.
I have them all, so we get another one. How much you want to give it away? Okay. Pat?
I bought the patriotic set. I bought the patriatic set.
Yeah,
This
this.
is patriotic.
Yeah, this.
I do.
Yeah, this one.
I have them all.
Which
I
one?
bought the entire
So
set.
hand me that, thank you.
Well, do you want another one? If you don't want another
like
one, I'll
this.
give it to Pat.
Oh, I've got,
Oh, I
You
love
got
this.
these too?
Well,
I
I
love groceries. They're
no, they are so nice. I mean, I'm not going to refuse it, but
It's
if
yours.
somebody else wants it, I love them.
I do too. I
I
know.
have
Yeah,
I have a whole bunch
I
of
don't
them.
have anything like this. I
Okay, give it to
Well,
her.
I've been,
Well, no, give it to her.
I give them as gifts, and then,
I
you know, so
I love
I
this.
have gone through a couple,
You and I got-
couple
yeah.
packets
You
of
and
those.
I got, yes.
I did a set of
yeah,
the solid color, and I did a set of these.
Boy,
So
I love
you
these. I
just-
don't have any of these.
This, will you have these? I don't. They're great
They
for
are so
groceries.
nice.
Well, I
And
love
for
them.
anything, if you go
Yeah,
somewhere and
yeah,
you have to
yeah.
carry a bunch of
I
stuff,
love
it holds so
Well, now
much,
you can
and
have
it's
something to carry
so,
home.
it's so strong and so heavy.
But I
They
use
are
it-
so nice.
But I use mine for groceries.
Is this healthy?
Yeah, I do too. It's Christmas.
I don't have.
Yeah.
She has the little ones.
The big ones curl, the little ones.
I love them. Because I love.
I love them.
I just give them something I love. Did you see what I gave you?
What's that?
That is an another husband made. Something that she can keep at hand. Yeah. You when you bring home food,
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh,
and I got food for you guys to bring home.
Well, look at the handle, how small.
They're strong. Oh, yeah, they
I
are.
had it's like a squishy insulated one.
Oh, I love this.
Those wraps.
I never ordered that.
Strong.
You know,
The handles on the bags, and she got a different kind of bag, but also strong handles.
Just think, you know, like,
For carrying groceries and other stuff, they are so nice.
nice man.
They're nice, heavy, strong bags.
Lysol. And I just wipe it out. Same with that bag yesterday.
Hey, does anybody else want to see my upstairs?
Sure,
You love my what? Okay.
I'd love to see his room.
Downstairs. It's wonderful.
I can go downstairs.
If you have something wet, put it in there. You will go. I just thought I'd mention. Oh, you will go, my dear.
Oh, yeah, well, Emma took off, but, Penny and Patricia, you can open up your bag from me, and it's just, we always have a little guy, huh?
When you open it, then you tell the story behind it.
That's fine, yeah. Pass this down to Sandra, and she can open hers last. And you know, you guys, they were supposed to be, I bought some time ago,
That's what you get.
pumpkin fall socks, you know? I looked yesterday, do you think I could find those socks? They're supposed to go in the bag too.
Oh.
It's in season. Oh, am I supposed to open this now?
Yeah, you can. But Sandra,
Don't open it?
well, yeah, you can open it, but here's the deal, Sandra.
Uh-uh.
Not gonna say
I
anything.
can wish for you happiness, but it's fleeting. You know, you can be happy today, sad tomorrow, but I wish for you joy, because that's always in your heart. And in the Bible, if you live by joy, you can conquer anything, even in the hardest of times.
The darkest of times.
The darkest of times, the hardest of times, that was good. You know, as long as you have joy in your heart, it's not fleeting, it's there.
Yeah. You can overlook it.
Oh,
Overcome
yeah,
anything.
and that's a reminder that you always have your guardian angel, somebody looking over you, or if there's a loved one.
Oh, yeah.
No, I want to say that when you talk about joy, it's something that I told Mark too. Joy is a big thing.
Yes,
It is. I just want to find joy and I want to be joyful.
yeah.
And
It's so much better than happiness, and people, you know, wish you happiness, but temporary.
joy is
But it's just
You know
a
what?
place to put her.
If you wish somebody happiness today, they think there's something wrong with you. I mean, that's the way people are sometimes, you know?
But joy is in your heart.
no, and I love that you do.
Yeah, and you can just have, it's just a small
Here
figure.
comes my joy. Oh, they belong together. I got the joy part. Oh, I got my guardian angel.
And they're small, they don't take up much room.
No.
And they're good for all year round, you know?
You can see it. That
Thank you, Lois. You're very thoughtful. Really.
Well, look at,
I know. Really nice. Sorry, Mark.
Joy.
Thank Joy.
Oh,
Wait, no. He's already lit, so we're okay.
you know, and I
I'm
had
getting lit up.
I just thought about putting like a little orange bow on, but then I thought, no, you change it like for Christmas. Just plain, just plain.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. But, oh yeah, there's everything in that.
basket over here.
Well, wait a second. I just,
Oh, you got a bag
What?
to put everything in. That's good.
Over here.
what did you say?
This basket.
What about it?
Did you notice it?
Did I notice it?
Yes.
I did notice it.
That's the one I found. Remember I told you?
You found?
Oh, Lois. Never mind.
No, I,
No. Keep listen to me when I talk to you.
Are you sure you was talking to me or something?
Yeah, I was talking to you on the phone.
And, bring it over. You
Now,
go ahead. You found it in your house? Or what? Tell me again, I drove over.
I was looking for other things. Found all these Halloween baskets.
In the house here.
In the house, because they're all in containers and some aren't.
And you found one you didn't?
And I opened it up and I didn't see them for years. And that's the one.
That you really liked or that you found?
Yeah, that one. But the top I told you about, you remember the?
Oh, yeah, you found it, okay. Yes. I can't,
Oh, you love
important
these.
things I try to keep in
And
my
I put all
head.
kinds of
Insignificant kind of go by the way. What?
Yeah, great for groceries, honestly.
Yeah, this is,
You know how they have those bags when they break? That was great. Yeah.
well, Sandra, what a treat, my goodness. And
Yeah, thank you.
QVC is happy.
Above in the,
Yeah. Robert said, and that mouth is getting full now. What was that? I said, but it's leaving.
No, you didn't order anything from what's her name?
I work like a dog to try
Valerie.
to what's it called? When you-
Deprogram.
You get stuff.
Deprogram.
No. Downsize. I'm trying to downsize. And I'm hauling stuff to Salvation Army. I'm hauling stuff to Goodwill.
Are your golf books going
I'm
to?
hauling stuff all over the place.
Without ice pack.
And I haul out a certain volume of stuff.
Well, it's,
And it's immediately replaced from QVC network. Boxes start coming.
Oh, it's so exciting.
well, some of them are, they get, it just,
You can open it
some
for
of
a
them,
day.
you can't read it, they don't last long.
Go down and slide and
He's got lots
But I'm telling you,
and lots of
it
games and
takes us
Helen?
4 hours.
DVDs.
4 hours.
Monkey's waiting for you to play with her.
Sorry.
Because she brought you the pumpkin.
And I feel this with my and I put my I don't want to die.
Don't break the leg, puppy.
You don't want the turkey to
Do that all day.
Put it in here. Yeah.
Oh, now it's Ian's turn.
And then you see, if you get a
Whoop.
ice pack, that would work too. Because it keeps it cold.
Are you referring to the ones that are in the plastic? Like.
Well, you can keep it if you want.
It's like what you have.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Or I do have a big ice pack there. And I'm gonna put that in
You
there.
keep it.
Ooh, that's
Oh, yeah.
very pretty.
Experiment.
I just put
Don't
Put it by the door or something.
Very, very
substitute with a lower
It's,
freezing point.
Doesn't take up space.
Christmas in
I
23.
don't know what the lower freezing.
They must have a
I'm
series.
just dog.
On the back it says Christmas of 23.
You know, when you peel that, it leaves a big mark, and gum.
Yeah.
So I didn't,
Snack thing.
I just had
That's
orthopedics
very
and had them
pretty.
made up. That's why it's Christmas up there. You peel
Very
this
pretty.
stuff off and it makes an awful,
When
it's
you
all
need
this
a
gum
lunch bag,
on the gum.
just wait, okay?
That's very
It's a reminder that there's always,
I know exactly
you
what
are
you
in
need,
danger with,
but you have to wait, always. Or you can get some of the substitute, you make it cheap or whatever you
No,
want.
I'm using
And then you
our
got
fishing
It's like everybody else. I go back to
Oh,
zero.
that's.
And so I have to work my way through all of the
That is
tiers.
sharp.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but it was
But
leaving
it doesn't take you as long to go through the low tiers. But when you get the higher tier,
Potion,
it takes a long time to get to that tier.
yeah,
And
I gotta take a
it's,
picture of that.
you know, like you might only have to have 500 or 1,000 to get to the next first tier.
How many years have
And
you
then
been
you
here?
might have to do
4 years.
1,000.
4 years.
But then
You like our house here?
Do I like the house?
to get to the next.
Yeah, no, I like the
And
house.
so as you get
I
to the
miss
better
Robert's.
tiers, it takes longer and you're
What do you
stuck
like?
in that.
No, this is very nice.
Most of
Where would you rather be, here or there?
I
Or
was stuck in the gold area.
Well, I was was losing friends left and right at Roberts, so I like it here. I don't know.
When I hit
But,
the platinum, all of a sudden I made 22,000.
Jim wouldn't invite me over to his house much. I don't know.
So, you know.
Did you go over to Jim's not too much anymore, or?
Yeah, well, I bought stuff off Amazon, and then I went over to his house all the time,
My friend is
fetching my stuff.
Oh, yeah, he ordered things for you.
Yeah, eBay and Amazon.
Yeah.
is probably middle of time.
And then he stopped doing that since
And then
2014.
what?
He stopped doing that since 2014.
And host is
He what?
He stopped doing it since
He stopped
2014.
doing it
Yeah,
Administrative capacity.
in 2014.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
to have you
Where's your
try
camera?
to do it. And, you know, I've got a host.
So,
Well, do you ever text him or anything?
and then I was going to Game Quest and Twitterific and stuff, and they wouldn't be my friends there.
Well,
Okay.
You know, and
We're gonna have a picture here.
It wasn't because of the
Oh,
service.
yeah.
They would just live somewhere.
Send it out, I want to see you.
when you start betting a little bit higher, it's not anything.
Or you want to say anything about Cato or his house or anything?
Well, the Campbells live in an absolutely lovely home in suburban Mankato, and I've been here a couple of times, and I've had a wonderful time every time I've been here. The
Okay.
wildlife is beautiful in the backyard,
Yeah.
and we just have a wonderful time being here.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. I think so.
Thanks.
Yep.
Start singing.
At Heathrow Airport in England, a 300-foot red carpet was stretched out to Air Force One, and President Bush strode to a warm but dignified handshake from Queen Elizabeth II. They rode in a silver 1934 Bentley to the edge of central London, where they boarded an open 17th century coach hitched to 6 magnificent white horses. As they rode towards Buckingham Palace, each looked to their side and waving to the thousands of cheering Britons lining the streets. All was going well. This was indeed a glorious display of pageantry and dignity. Suddenly the scene was shattered when the right rear horse let rip the most horrendous, earth-shattering, eye-smarting blast of flatulence, and the coach immediately filled with noxious fumes. Uncomfortable, but maintaining control, the two dignitaries did their best to ignore the whole incident. But then the Queen decided that was a ridiculous manner with which to handle a most embarrassing situation. She turned to Mr. Bush and explained, "Mr. President, please accept my regrets. I'm sure you understand that there are some things even a queen cannot control." George W., ever the Texas gentleman, replied, "Your Majesty, please don't give the matter another thought. You know, if you hadn't said something, I would have assumed it was one of the horses."
that, what's the next one behind it? Which is the other one?
She's got a new one.
Well, we haven't heard the new one.
Isn't that good?
Yep, that's cute.
That's always been a hit. I need time to find Trump to have some good
The
stories.
new one said October 2023 on the top.
Oh, I like this one too.
Oh, yeah.
This is another old one. We're not doing the 23s. I'll do the other old one. Billy Graham was returning to Charlotte
that's
after a speaking engagement, and when his plane arrived, there was a limousine there to transport him to his home. As he prepared to get into the limo, he stopped and spoke to the driver. "You know," he said, "I am 87 years old and I have never driven a limousine. "Would you mind if I drove it for a little while?" The driver said, "No problem, have at it." Billy gets into the driver's seat and they head off down the highway. A short distance away sat a rookie state trooper operating his first speed trap. The long black limo went by him doing 78 in a 55 zone. The trooper pulled out and easily caught the limo, and he got out of the patrol car to begin the procedure. The young trooper walked up to the driver's door, and when the glass was rolled down, he was surprised to see who was driving. He immediately excused himself and went back to his car and called his supervisor. He told the supervisor, "I know we are supposed to enforce the law, but I also know that important people are given certain courtesies. I need to know what I should do because I have stopped a very important person." The supervisor asked, "Is it the governor?" And the young trooper said, "No, he's more important than that." The supervisor said, "Oh, so it's the president?" And the young trooper said, "No, he's even more important than that." The supervisor finally asked, "Well then, who is it?" The young trooper said, "I think it's Jesus because he's got Billy Graham for a chauffeur."
Oh my God. That's great. Where do you find these? Just online?
Yes, but that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't
Those
heard
are
that
old.
one. I haven't heard that one for a while.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
That's
I have
been,
some good
but
ones.
I haven't heard it for a while. That is a good one.
Oh, there's some, but I'm really ready for a fresh pile of good stories.
Oh, but those two,
Yeah.
are keepers.
Those are good ones.
Yeah. This is the first time I've seen one of my parties.
Yes, that's right. He's that first timer. I knew he a rookie.
Hey, that's good, Alan, a rookie.
A girl, do you ever think of that?
Those
You know,
look
and the
really
dad stood
real,
up and
and
said-
the way that the light
Yeah.
on
Yes,
the
that-
interior of
That's
the
the
wiggler.
last time
Yeah.
that he would ever bring
Those
his
look
son
very,
in.
very
His-
good.
This doctor would never see his son
But they
again.
look like
that
them, Mara.
of all the
Isn't
nerve.
that the
to say
Luminara.
that. This kid
Luminara.
has, you know,
Luminara.
nothing but that in his
Luminara.
mind. He's just a sweet, innocent boy that wants physical to play football. That dad, he really raised Cain about that. But now in going to be a doctor, a lot of the schools, part of the curriculum is that as a doctor, you're supposed to, would you rather be a girl, would you rather be a boy? You know, that kind of crap. And
Yeah,
that's
What was that school district that had the library was the first one to offer, oh my
No,
God, 78 selections of
I'll keep them for my birds.
transgender.
Is that okay?
and
Oh, yeah.
It was a Minnesota school. They
If they're alive.
kind of set the pace for the rest of the country. So I think they were
Sounds like something that would happen at like Carlton or, some of the,
well,
they're very, 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 very.
The little birds are
in
starting
the
to get
Minneapolis
used to
schools,
it. Yes, for a while. Yeah.
35,000
They, I think they were
and they
more
were all given
frightened
this
than
paper,
birds.
you
Because they
know,
sit on the fence
if
too.
you'd rather be a girl or a boy. 6,000 wanted to be the opposite.
I hope they don't do that loud.
35,000, and you wonder if they just were fooling around and just worked it, you know, but,
How old?
well, the school system, so I don't know, I think it probably a broad range of ages.